Welcome back to K-Chat with me, your host, Kayla Morales. We chat all things from love to life to business, spirituality, health and wellness, and everything in between. And I'm so excited to get season 2 kicked off. I am sorry for the long break in between, but this episode is a solo episode with yours truly, and we will be talking about my drumroll, my Saturn return, and how shit hit the fan when my Saturn return hit. And so yeah, that's what I'll be chatting about this episode. I also have quite a big announcement within this episode as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. As for season 2, you guys can expect same episode schedule. So new episodes are airing on Wednesdays, and I will release the YouTube version of those episodes on Mondays. So if you like to check out the visuals, you can do that over on YouTube. This episode will not have my face on it because your girl is dog sitting this week. I'm dog sitting and I don't have all of my equipment. I guess I could have brought all of my equipment, but I'm lazy sometimes, y'all. So yeah, so you will just see a beautiful photo of me on this episode instead of the live video version, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I hope everyone is doing well. It is hot as balls in California. So freaking hot. What else is new? I haven't had lunch yet. Okay, let me just get into the episode. Okay, so what is your Saturn return? Actually, before I get into the Saturn return, I want to say I did grow up pretty religious. Actually, in honesty, my mom is not super religious. She kind of gave us the freedom to explore the things that we wanted to. However, my grandma was around, and my grandma is very religious. And so astrology, Harry Potter, Narnia, all these things were just shunned. Anything the Christian channel said not to do, she did not like us doing. So I wasn't super into astrology. I mean, I would kind of like look into it every so often. And even now, I'm not super duper into it. I don't read my horoscope on the daily or anything like that. But I do love to look into major planetary changes and shifts. And a few years ago, I learned about what your Saturn return was. And I thought it was fascinating. And for me, I mean, there's a lot of astrology that seems kind of questionable, or seems like maybe it's just like hypothetical. But for me, I think everyone can relate to a Saturn return, whether they attribute it to astrology. But I think everyone can relate that around the time where your Saturn return hits, things kind of hit the fan, things shift. And so for those of you who aren't familiar with what a Saturn return is, your Saturn return, so basically when you're born, all the planets are in a certain placement. And where your Saturn is, it doesn't get back to that point until about 27 to 29 years later. So that's when the planet Saturn returns to the same placement that it was when you were born. And around that time, a lot of things start to shift. A lot of major life changes start to happen. So this is the point where people start thinking about a new career, or they start getting kind of antsy at their job and thinking like, is this really for me? Do I really want to do this for the rest of my life? You might break up with people. You might get engaged or have a baby or move. It's kind of the time of your life where things are really shifting in a big way. And so, I mean, whether you believe in astrology or not, everyone can agree like right around 27, 28, right before 30, things start to change. I mean, even biologically, right? Like things just start to feel different. And you start to get serious, financial things, finances start to become a little more serious to you. You start to think about your future in a different way. And so I think everyone can agree with that and everyone can relate to that. And so for me, yeah, when my Saturn return hit, oh my gosh, everything kind of blew the fuck up. And so my Saturn return hit, I haven't looked it up recently, but it was April 16th of 2020. And so this was like during lockdown. And for me, April 16th is when it hit. And then April 20th, 4 freaking days later, I was hospitalized for my mental health. I had a huge mental breakdown. And prior to that, I had basically, COVID kind of had everyone losing their jobs. But before COVID really hit, I lost both of my jobs right before kind of everyone else. And had no relation to COVID. It really had to do with my mental health. And so I stopped acting. I was no longer nannying and I was no longer teaching. And so fast forward a few months, my Saturn return hits. 4 days later, I'm in a hospital. I'm stuck in a hospital against my will. Which is a story for a different time. But I just think it's crazy that it just took 4 days for shit to hit the fan. And so, what came of that was a few things. I realized burnout is real. I realized mental health. I've always known mental health is important, and I teach these things, and I've been in plays about these things. But I just hadn't experienced any major mental health issues like what I dealt with. So basically, during my breakdown, I couldn't really think for myself. I was thinking, but I was doing things very irrationally, which is what led me to the hospital. So I was in the hospital for a week. And then after that, I finally got out. I thought I was going to be there for like the rest of my life. I was literally thinking I would be in the hospital for my whole life, which was scary. But after that, I've taken my mental health a lot more seriously. And I also have so much more empathy and sympathy for other people who are dealing with mental health issues on various levels, but I just never realized how serious it could actually get. I never realized how much your brain can really turn on you. And so I will definitely do an episode more deeply on that, but this is about my Saturn return. So that was like the first thing that kind of shifted. And so what happened with that was I had COVID, we had lockdown, so I had a break from work. I had a break from life, really, which, it's unfortunate that it took COVID to do that for me. But prior to all of this, I was working 60 to 80-hour weeks because I was trying to squeeze in, I was trying to make my money, but I was also trying to act and trying to do all the extra things as far as acting that I could do. And I wasn't taking care of myself, And so I think that that first part, just dealing with my mental health during my Saturn return, I think I learned that I really got to be taking care of myself, especially if I want to be in this for the long haul, if I want to be sustainable and working for years and years, especially as an actor, I need to really check myself. I need to check my burnout. And so that's something that I'm still working on and still focusing on. But that was kind of the first major thing that happened, the first major shift that happened. And during that time, I also just started, I don't know, paying attention to little other behaviors that I had, things I can cut out, and stuff like that. And then, I mean, COVID kind of slowed things down and made me really question what's next, right? Like what jobs do I want to get back into? Do I want to continue acting? Is acting even something I really want to do? Or is it just something I have convinced myself that I need to do for some sort of attention or some sort of validation? And I came to realize, no, I really do love acting. Acting's my shit. I love it. But there are jobs that I don't need, right? And there are certain things. So I think being more selective with the jobs I say yes to, which anyone who is an actor and trying to work professionally, you know how hard it is to say no to certain things just because you don't know when the next thing is going to come. And so I had to kind of break through that kind of like, I don't know, that fear mentality about, well, if I say no to this, then like, what if this was my big thing? Or, and I had to really just get serious about what I want to do, what jobs I want to take part in, what values and morals I want to make sure that I'm incorporating, even if I'm not saying it. But what values do I want to bring to Hollywood, into my acting career, into every room, right? Which I felt like I've always been pretty good at that. But I think during this time I was really questioning, like what's important? What do I believe in? What do I want to do more of? And so going back into acting, I think my main priority was just making sure I felt healthy on set, that I felt safe on set, because prior to losing my agent and prior to COVID and all of that, I was dealing with a lot of paranoia and a lot of anxiety on sets. And if anyone follows me on Instagram, you saw I mentioned my last day on set, the day the situation I lost my agent over. I was very anxious. I was paranoid. I was scared. I literally was thinking people were out to get me after dealing with an actual traumatic situation. But then, not taking care of that situation led me to just stress over everyday things. So I didn't know if going back to set post-COVID, after all of this, I didn't know what my mental health would be like. I didn't know what it would feel like to be alone around a bunch of strangers and needing to perform and to act a certain way. Thank God that it was beautiful. It was a great experience. I had a 3-day shoot. Again, I wrote about it on my Instagram, but basically it was a dental shoot and everyone was great. All 3 days went smoothly. Everything was perfect. My performance was fine. And I was just so freaking thankful. I was thankful that I had time away from acting to see if I really wanted to continue acting. I also was really grateful that I had like a crew and a castmate who was just fun and comfortable and familiar, even though I hadn't met them. It was just a good vibe all around. And it really solidified that this is what I want to do. This is the career path I want to take. And it is what I enjoy. And so that was kind of the first thing. And then I have been with the same partner for years, honey, for years, 12 years to be exact. I mean, on and off, but 12 years to be exact. We've been together for a long ass time. And so nothing really shifted with that. I mean, we, dealt with lockdown together. We dealt with me being hospitalized together. And so dealing with such a we also dealt with the traumatic situation that led to my hospitalization together. So just dealing with big events like that with my partner, his name's Kempton. With Kempton, I'll mention him. dealing with these issues with Kempton solidified our relationship in a way in which it hadn't been solidified before. It was kind of our first major trial and tribulation, like where we had to see if we really had each other's backs, you know? And I'm so thankful. He is literally the reason I was able to get out of the hospital, because he vouched for me. He set up therapy appointments for me once I got out, and just like literally was the person fighting for me to get out of the hospital. So that was awesome to have. That was awesome to know that I had someone who can see me in such a low, dark place and not like abandon me. Not that I ever thought he would, but I think it's normal in relationships to be like, okay, how much of my shit can you take? Like how dark can shit get before you like leave, you know? And that was definitely my darkest hour, like darkest hour. And he wrote that shit out like a champ. So shout out to Kemp. Thank you for that. But so during this time where, you know, again, Saturn return, you're reevaluating relationships, you're reevaluating everything. This was a time that really solidified our relationship and made it stronger. And I'm thankful for that. I hate that it happened the way it did. I hate that I had to deal with scary things. I mean, he witnessed scary things as well. And so I'm just thankful we wrote that out and we are on the other side. And so continuing with the big major changes, post-COVID, now it's kind of like, I guess now time. You know, time has passed and my mental health is A1 again. I'm feeling good. Everything's pretty much back to normal. And for the big announcement, now we are pregnant. Bruh. I haven't even said that on the internet yet. We are pregnant. I'm pregnant. We're gonna be parents, which is so fucking wild, but also really freaking cool and really divine and exciting. And so let's see. What do I want to say about this? Before I got pregnant. First of all, shout out to Kemp again. 12 years, pull-out game, hella strong. We never had any worries. We never had any pregnancy scares together. So once I did get pregnant, we were both like, what? Like, this could really happen? And it was scary at first. We decided that we should keep it. We've been together for, again, a long ass time. And we also are mature enough and in a place where we can, you know, welcome a new life, a new soul to this planet together. And so, yeah, we're really excited, a little scared, nervous, all the things. But I will definitely talk more about it in some future episodes. I'm going to get into first trimester, second trimester, third trimester shit no one told me about. I haven't been in my third trimester yet. Right now I'm in my second trimester, but so far there's a lot of things y'all didn't tell me about, and I'm going to be the one to break it down. So look forward to those episodes. But yeah, we're expecting our first child. We don't know what it is yet. There will be some sort of, I don't know, Instagram about this. But if you listen to the podcast, you are part of the first to know. So congratulations. I also just want to mention, you know, for anyone who is going through a difficult time, just to give yourself some grace, which I know it's like, what does that mean? But I think what helped me a lot, obviously it was during lockdown for me, and so the world kind of stopped a little bit, but I think just scaling back, you know, maybe if there are some obligations or things that you can kind of ease off of your plate, I think that really helps. You know, just really being able to spend time with your support group, your community, your friends, but also spending time with yourself and just taking it easy, like really really giving yourself a break, and trying to breathe through it all, finding new modalities that can help you. I think that I think those things really helped me. I mean, honestly, I was trying it all, and I would love to say, oh, meditation fixed it, but no, like I was meditating, I was doing breath work, I was doing all of this when my mental health really hit the fan. Like I was in a very spiritual place, but I just want to reiterate that, mental health doesn't just like step aside if you're doing everything right. Like, and you can't really control when you have a breakdown or when things just aren't working properly. And so there is no right or wrong. There is no do this, do that, and you're going to be healed. It's not like that. But I think the biggest thing that helped me was just giving myself time, to relax, giving myself time to not be stressed about where I have to go, taking off work, which I know is a huge privilege that I had a partner that can help support me through this time. But if you have the capabilities of just like stepping aside and taking care of yourself and honoring yourself, then I like highly suggest that that's what you do. And yeah, just really, time really does heal, and allowing yourself to have that time, allowing yourself to get through this darkness without harming yourself or hurting yourself, is really important, because you'll evolve past this. You'll get through it. I promise. You just gotta push. And I know it's hard. I know a lot of people are probably saying that to you. And it's like, what the fuck does that mean? It's frustrating to hear. Trust me, I get it. But that's really all it is. And asking for help. If you need to have a conversation, if you need to talk to someone, if you need to even check yourself into somewhere, if you have that ability, then do that. But above all else, just honor yourself, take care of yourself, love on yourself, even when it's hard. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. And yeah, so overall, a lot has changed since my Saturn return has hit. A lot. I'm thankful I'm in a good place mentally, but I'm also thankful that everything happened that did happen, because had it not happened, I wouldn't have known how strong my partner is when I'm down. I wouldn't have known how strong I am myself in getting back up when I'm not down. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel like after experiencing something traumatic and then experiencing the aftermath of that trauma and healing it, I feel like there's so much power within that. And so if anyone is going through a traumatic time or struggling with their mental health, like, just know, I know it's cheesy as hell, and I hate that I even have to say it, but it does get better. It really does get better. Don't give up. Keep pushing. Keep trying, and find, support around you. Find people that you can talk to. Find a great therapist, which I know that is hard too. But actually, side note, I want to shout out my friends, because during this time, I had friends sending me people I can go see, like searching, friends that aren't even living in this state, researching therapists for me or researching resources for me. And so, I mean, having a good support group around you throughout life, just in general, is so important. But during this dark time was very important, and felt really great to have, And so this is sort of the the rainbow at the end. We're having a baby, and I'm getting supported in a whole new way by my community, and I'm so thankful for all of it, really. And so if anyone's going through their Saturn return or mental health issues, it's hard. It's some murky ass waters, but you can get through it, push through, and welcome the changes, welcome the questions that are arising within you right now. welcome the new ideas you may have, the new things you want to try out. I mean, there's people who can talk about Saturn return and probably say so much more than I can. But I think that during this time while you're questioning everything, it's also equally as important to say yes to new things. Really figure out what you love. Really figure out if what you love is what you no longer love, right? And figure out what might light you up next, and what is, I guess, just really be open to seeing what the next phase of life has for you. And so for me, it's a baby, which is crazy. I always thought I would be the cool aunt with no kiddos, but I'm thankful and I'm welcoming this new phase of life. And yeah, this will be a short and sweet episode. But I want to hear from you guys. If you're in your Saturn return, if your Saturn return has passed, I want to hear what sort of things came up for you. What did you overcome? What revelations did you experience? So leave a comment on the gram, send us an email at kchatpodcast@gmail.com, or just drop a little review on Apple if you're feeling a little spicy, if you want to do that. But yeah, I would love to hear from you guys about your Saturn return. I think it's so interesting, and I definitely think it's one of the aspects of astrology I just connect with the most, because it's undeniable. It's literally undeniable that shit kind of goes a little wild for a bit before you're 30. So aside from that, I look forward to this season with you all. Actually, that's low-key why season 1 ended so abruptly. I got pregnant, y'all, and I was sick and tired. I was literally sick and tired all the time. And so, sorry about that. But season 2 is on and popping, and it's going to be fun. We're going to have new guests, new topics. So yeah, make sure you all drop a comment on our Instagram. Let me know what you're interested in hearing, what topics you guys are into, what's lighting you up. I have a few things up my sleeve right now, but of course I want to incorporate the things that you guys are interested in hearing. And yeah, thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for sticking with me over this break. I'm excited to share more about my journey in the solo episodes, becoming a mom and continuing my acting career while being a mom, which we'll see how that goes. But all the things I'm very excited to share. I'm so stoked for season 2. So yeah, let's get it. Have a great day, guys. And yeah, spread some love.